All right. Everything working? Think everything's working. So, let's talk about... this is the first time I'm doing like a post-chapter stream. So what do? Do I just wait a little bit? Do I wait for people to trickle in? The thumbnail was wrong. Not my fault. Not my fault whatsoever. I swear. Well, it might have been my fault, but I also fixed it, so you got to give me credit for that. All right. We will talk about the current chapter as soon as some more people trickle in, I guess. Red X says I count that on time. I was very early. Anybody who's a regular viewer knows that I'm not typically early. Okay, so I do want to start with a poll on how many people think that this was the end or not. I want to wait a little bit to see people, just let's let some other people come in. Let's do a fair vote. Let new people come in, people who are not regular Morge viewers, otherwise the vote will be skewed. I want to know, okay, first of all, how many people, do people think that this is over? How many people are convinced that it's over versus, that's what the poll is for. That's what the poll is for. We're going to wait for the poll. Let's see how the poll shakes out. Goose says TCB did a poll. I'm not interested in TCB's polls. Although I am going to look it up right now just to take a look. I'm not logged in on Twitter on this computer. Hold on. Not that I care what TCB did, but let me just take a look at TCB's poll. Not that I care. The only legitimate poll is the Morge poll. That is the only legitimate poll. But just out of curiosity, let's take a look at TCB. Is TCB in here? TCB is in here. Already done a poll on Twitter. All right, let's see. Let's see what your fraudulent poll looks like. Is Kaido defeated for good? Yes or no? I'm gonna vote yes. I'll do my honest vote. I'll do no. That's tight. Are you kidding? I thought a lot of you guys would be like, oh, Kaido's done for. But actually TCB, and if TCB's poll is pulling like 50-40 numbers, then my poll is probably gonna be like, I have no idea what you people will vote, but I have a feeling. Okay, Atris says, I don't know if it's over or not. I'm 50-50. That's what the poll reflects. Guys, if you don't know whether it's over or not, and you trust in Oda as a writer, then you would expect that Oda would make it pretty climactic when he makes it, when he finishes off Kaido. Were we wondering whether Doflamingo was finished or not? Were we wondering when Lucci was finished or not? Were we wondering when Katakuri was finished or not? No. Enough with the... All right. We'll wait and see. Obviously, I might be wrong. But I believe in the next 2 chapters or so, within the next 2 chapters or so, I'm pretty sure Kaido's getting back up. Actually, that's not true. I personally believe that Kaido's flashback will continue within the next 2 chapters or so. I think we might get 1 chapter of if it's seeming like the raid might be, I'm having trouble saying those 2 words. Of it seeming like things are over and then continuing up in the next chapter. DR says, Morge is actually 5 days early. That deserves a like for the stream, doesn't it? Also, this fight definitely isn't over yet. The fact that there's so much controversy over whether or not the fight is over, to me, that should tell you in itself that the fight's not over, but what do I know? Everybody like the stream. Everybody's here to like the stream. It's time to like the stream. Whether you're a Morge hater, whether you're here to be like, Morge, the raid didn't fail, blah, 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 blah. Just at least like the stream so you can bring in more of your fellow haters. Pump it up in the algorithm or whatever. Where are we at? Spoonman says, Oda knew we weren't going to like Kaido being beat like this. In an SBS, he said, I know my readers won't be satisfied if Luffy beats Kaido because his punch is so strong. There's more to this for sure. Agreed. Wheezy Bird says, not even copium. We don't even see Kaido's race in this chapter, so it's not over. Agreed. Let alone the other things with Kaido's character. I don't have to make my case. I feel like everybody can see it for what it is and make the case for me. And basically, like, we can all see it, right? DuckDuck20 says, Kaido gonna pop out of that hole awakened. Like, am I correct? Like, I don't think I have to do a lot. I don't think I have to make a lot of arguments here. I think everybody's kind of aware of what the arguments are. Where are we at? Okay, I don't think I've skipped any super... Okay, super miss from Captain Face. Thanks, the Pirate Hero. The raid will fail. Kaido will awaken. Can't wait. Agreed. Skylar H says more streams fresh after chapter, please. No, so right now I don't like doing a stream on a Thursday night. I don't like doing a stream. I'm not gonna do streams on Friday nights. I shouldn't say I don't like doing a stream right now, but it's just not quite like I'm continuing drinking just because I was previously and I rushed back to do this stream, and I probably will drink a little bit more over the course of this. Nothing crazy, but I owe you guys a stream from Monday, so that's what we're doing. Tuna Sub says, over the past 3 hours, copium has become my least favorite word. In my opinion, it's not over, and if I see one more person say copium without any further argument, my brain's gonna implode. Raid failing. Look, if we're wrong, we're wrong, all right? Raid failures, if we're wrong, we're wrong. Give it 2 chapters. If in 2 chapters it's kind of clear that Wano is wrapping up, the fight is over, etc., I will concede. I will 100% concede. I'll do a video, etc. So give it 2 chapters. If Kaido's flashback continues in chapter 1050 or 1051, then I'm going to wait out the flashback. Beyond that, there's really not much more to say, right? Copium. Bruh says copium. Bradley Gaines says copium. Shardik says copium. Because we talked about copium being not... All right. Jay Keefe says you're wrong. I might be wrong. I don't know. I might be wrong. But it might be wrong. I just don't think that's the case. Bunfagum says, what is Momo's new storyline going to be? He has to complete his current one, because his current one is currently not complete. Thomas Cass says, whenever an arc boss loses, it is superimposed with Luffy's words and inner monologue / retrospection. True, go back 1-2 bad guys to Doflamingo or whatever. Go back to Hordy, whatever. Contrastingly, this defeat happened during the villain's flashback and thoughts. Nothing much for me to say here other than go back to my video recently about Kaido. Kaido will... No, not even Kaido will awaken. Go back to the video that's Kaido will beat the shit out of Gear 5th Luffy. I think I covered kind of there how the battle is more so framing Kaido to come out on top than Luffy. Kind of framing Kaido as the victor, with Kaido currently going down but getting his dramatic flashbacks, etc. Pre his power-up. Okay, alright. In 2 minutes, as soon as Super Chat slow down for a second, I'll run a poll. LD Sparrow 10 says, it's not over. The sun didn't rise with Luffy's punch. Cool. Ivan back from the card shop says, if the raid does fail, do you think it would be a bigger twist than what Black Clover had? 100%. 100% bigger twist than what Black Clover had. I think not even close. Alex Gaventis says, to me, this is clearly finished. All right, so Alex is presenting an alternative point of view. To me, this is clearly finished. We found out Luffy's real dream. As he dealt the final blow, it's over. All right, so funnily enough, my next video is not whatsoever about the raid failing, etc. I'm saving that for Friday. The far more interesting thing to talk about here is Luffy's angle and what Luffy said, and that is next Tuesday's video. I want to get that out first, and after that, next Friday's video, I'll go back to talking about, is the fight over, blah, 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 the usual. The pirate hero says, from Ninja Dragon, feel like a lot of people don't get why Kaido thinks Joy Boy can beat him, but it seems pretty obvious to me. I think I need clarification in story for that as well. Johnny, as the name says, I think the raid failing would be great for the story. It for sure is better than this chapter being Kaido's defeat. I'm not allowed to get into any of that, because as soon as I start making arguments like that, people are like, oh, Morge thinks he can write better than Oda, some shit like that. It's like, no, I just think that this is what Oda will do. But as soon as I say something like that, it's just, that's what people respond with. But I'm glad you said it. The pirate hero says, from Miss Super Chat, from Roniger, there's absolutely more, but we can't go 10 plus chapters of fighting. I mean, that's why I think Kaido will win kind of quick. Victor Lopez says ZKK, so totally different angle. I don't know if ZKK is happening. I don't know if any of this supports ZKK, but glad to see that some people still support that. Thomas Kaz says from Ninja Dragon, feel like a lot of people don't get why Kaido thinks... No, we covered this. People are going crazy right now. Hold on. Drop my phone. Good thing I have one of those, what are they called? The good phone cases? Otterboxes? I have a good phone case. It's okay. Neku Tennyson says Kaido is going to awaken and do another bowl of breath and knock off the Big Mom Pirates one last time. I don't know if that's what Kaido is going to awaken and do, but that would be really funny. Nerve AMV Maker. Sounds like he's an AMV maker. Guys, go check out Nerve AMV Maker's AMVs. It sounds like he's an AMV channel. To be fair, almost every Wano fight ended anticlimactically. This is unfortunately the norm this arc. No, that's the point. That's why the raid is going to fail. It's because every fight ended anticlimactically. It's because Oda is setting up the comeback for the beat. That's the point. That's the point. It all starts with... Okay, so Kaido's a domino. This domino flips the other way, awakens, comes back. All the other dominoes start coming back. Just wait. Let's wait. Find out next few chapters. I personally think that at the very least we get a flashback coming soon. Next 2 chapters, hopefully Kaido's flashback picks up. At the end of the flashback, things turn around. That's my opinion. Lucas Anse asking the real question says, is it really copium? I don't know. We'll find out if it's copium or not later on. I think at the moment, the fact that TCB Scans did a poll. Not my poll, not my biased viewers, not my biased-ass viewers who want the raid to fail. None of you guys, all right? TCB Scans, the honest, pure man of the people who, he does the chapters for everybody. Not the raid succeeders, raid failures. He does the chapters for everybody. He ran a poll. People over there are split 50-50. So if everybody's split 50-50, at what point do you say it's copium or not copium? I don't know. Future Mech says, Morge, you keep the fan base honest. Keep doing what you're doing. The raid still won't fail, though. Thanks, Future Mech. The raid still won't fail, though, but this arc and fight is not over yet. All right, interesting. Let's find out. Krishna Vamsi says, let's say Kaido is not defeated. Then given that both Big Mom and Kaido slammed or dropped into a giant hole on Wano Land, you think both will be back and maybe awaken. That is exactly what I think. I think there's no way that Big Mom is just out for the arc after being, let's be very clear about this, one of the 4 Emperors of the Sea. I do not believe that she is out for the arc after being dropped down a hole. Keep in mind, that is very literally what happened to Big Mom. She was dropped down a hole. I do not believe that one of the 4 Emperors of the Sea is done for the arc, no awakening shown whatsoever, after being dropped down a hole. That is my opinion. I don't think that that is that far-fetched. I don't think that's that insane that Oda would not have Big Mom being defeated for the arc by falling down a hole. If you believe that it is Goda's work to have Big Mom defeated, falling down a hole, a character that he has hyped and built up over hundreds and hundreds of chapters, right? Devoted a full arc to building her up as a villain. I don't think she's going to lose by falling down a hole. That's my opinion. At least for the arc. I think she will be back. So let's find out, obviously, in the next several chapters. 100% might be wrong. It's totally a possibility. Totally a possibility. But that's where I'm at right now. No Brain says, Fire has a lot of thematic relevance recently. Yeah, that's something that somebody commented in one of my recent videos. They made a really nice comment talking about fire in this arc in general. They compared it to food and how that was used throughout Whole Cake Island. I think that's a really good point. That's something that I personally was not picking up on or talking about. I mean, obviously, yeah, subconsciously you're like, yeah, they're talking about fire a lot, but there was a really good post recently talking about just how fire might be thematically important throughout this. So do you have any interpretations about zone fruit / beast / thematic relevance in this arc? On that point, yes, but that's something that would be saved for a post-Act 3 analysis, so I'm not going to talk about that too much here. And in general, I want to reread all of Act 3 before I start talking about things like that. Karate D-Bid says, Kaido still needs an awakening, flashback first, agreed. I've been talking about that in recent videos. A certain nerd, Mickwing, says, Kaido's down. So they believe Kaido is down, but I'm more concerned with the world government with the CP0 flying out Onigashima. Yeah, I think it's interesting that Oda included that little tidbit right there just to make it clear that CP0 is up to something. Amrit Singh says your thoughts about the flashback. I like the flashback. I like the bits and pieces that we're getting of the flashback. Kaido elaborated on some very important points later on in some of the latter pages of the flashback that I think it's going to come up in Tuesday's video. I'm not saying this just to talk up my own video. I think there's a very good... raid failures, raid succeeders, whether you like me, dislike me, whether you're here for whatever purpose, I think Tuesday's video, no matter what, you will find it very interesting, in my opinion, because I think there's certain things that were talked about this chapter, not theory related really, I guess theory related, but not raid succeeding or raid failing related, basically, that were very interesting on both Kaido's end and Luffy's end. Some of the things that were said this chapter, I think, are really, really important for the series and put a lot of things from throughout One Piece into context. So look out for next Tuesday's video. I think that's a good video. If you can set aside however you feel about the raid succeeding or failing for that video, definitely check out that video. I'll be hard promoting that because I think that's a very interesting video I'm about to drop. Amrit Singh says, your thoughts about the flashback? I mean, no, yeah, we just covered that, right? Spoonman says, is it Rocks or Big Mom that's saying we're going to Wano? It doesn't seem to be a silhouette of the cowboy hat that Big Mom wears. I think if it's Rocks, he's definitely wearing a straw hat. There's no way Rocks is wearing a straw. I gotta look at that panel again. Trinity of the Phoenix says, ZZZ for Kaido, napping after that punch. Maybe. I thought that there would be some more hateful super chats. I was like, what is this? This is boring. All right, Gia Studio says, I think the trend with Luffy defeating each of the Yonko will be that he'll voice a part of his ultimate dream. For example, Luffy wants to make a world where everyone eats since Kaido is a source of starvation. Yeah, next video is very Luffy-centric. It's very, very much focused on what he said this chapter. I don't think there's that many more pieces to Luffy's dream. And I think, yeah, once you watch the next video, I think you might understand a little bit more why I feel that way. Obviously, again, might be wrong on that. But at least from the things that I'm seeing regarding Luffy's dream, I think this was the moment. Ivan back from the card shop says, we focused on Kaido's awakening, but not Big Mom's. I think she powers up other people with homies, which is why her crew wasn't on the island yet. It's an interesting theory. Okay, all right, let's do the poll. Then I'll catch up on the existing supers. Will the raid Okay, now let's do it first. All right. Is Kaido done? Let's do the simple stuff. Let's do the baby steps, right? Baby steps. Is Kaido done? Yes, no. Let's do baby steps. All right. Baby steps, is Kaido done? This will tell me a lot. Spoonman says, it's kind of funny that Kaido, Big Mom, King, and Queen were all launching out of Onigashima to mainland Wano. I mean, I think that we're going to see returns from most of them. Okay, so that one's easy. I'll give it 5 more seconds and the poll, but it does look like most people think Kaido is not done. The pirate here says, just want to let you know, if the raid fails, I always believed in you. If it doesn't, of course, I always knew that you were wrong. Pirate here, all right, thanks, man. I appreciate you. Cool stuff. Hey, Yano says, what? I think we can end this poll, right? End this poll. New poll. Better poll. Will the raid fail? Yes. No. This will tell me a lot. Hey, Yano says, what do you think of the way Onigashima landed? I think the way Onigashima landed, to me, sets up more to go for the rest of the story. That's all I got to say. I think that's the way it looks like to me. Oh, man, you guys let me down on this one. Will the raid fail? 63% no. 66% no. Okay, so that means that the majority of people think that Kaido is not done yet, but overall, the general consensus is that Luffy still ultimately defeats Kaido here. All right, I can live with that. That's interesting. And I think that that's obviously a very interesting possibility. I think that, I don't think that the raid needs to fail. I think that Kaido coming back and making things a lot more difficult would still be really, really good storytelling, depending on how it's done. So just keep that in mind. I just never felt that Kaido losing right here would be good. So let's wait and see how this plays out. Hey, Yano says, what do you think of the way Onigashima landed? Yep, we covered that. Paravision. Oh, you're a YouTuber, right? Hold on. Let me confirm this. I've heard your name too many times. I would watch your channel. I just don't watch other One Piece channels at this point. Paravision is a YouTuber, a big YouTuber, 10K plus, pretty big. Guys, go check out Parvision's channel at some point. Not right now. Not right now. Everyone stay right here for the moment. But as soon as you guys are done here, then everybody go to Parvision's channel. All right? Order of operations, right? What are we doing first? We're staying here. That's number 1. Order of operations. 2, go check out Parvision's channel. Unless this isn't even the real Parvision. I don't even know if it's the real Parvision. Maybe it's just some guy pretending. Parvision says, you think we're going to have dual awakenings? Kaido awakening, obviously, but also mindless impel down Beast Jailer awakening from Orochi. Doesn't feel like the fight's over. I think that there's going to be a mass Zoan awakening, to be honest. And I've talked about that in past videos, about why I think the Beast Pirates have not awakened yet. Somebody dropped a very interesting idea. I say somebody, I wish I could credit the person. I don't know who. Not my idea. That's all I can say. Might be Twitter, might be YouTube. I don't remember. Somebody dropped an interesting idea that different categories of devil fruits might have different consequences for awakening. So we know with Paramecia, one of the consequences for awakening is that your stamina is used up very quickly. Somebody suggested that it's possible that for Zoan awakenings which are heavily emphasizing, Zoan awakenings as far as we know heavily emphasize like recovery, durability, things like that. Somebody suggested that maybe Zoans can only awaken when the user is in a near-death or extremely injured situation. So that would be obviously interesting to see play out. Cozy Kev says, was that Rox's silhouette in the flashback? Does it look like he has a straw hat on? Let's pull up the chapter. Was it Rox's silhouette or not? TCB scans. Let's pull up the chapter. I'm not going to screen share with you guys because I don't really want the whole stream to be taken down. I think you guys don't want that either. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys do. Gigatronma says, I think I'm more invested in the Is Morge right arc than the actual story. That's pretty funny. Anuj Agrawal says, all right, Anuj, let's see what you say. Do people really think Wano isn't 5 acts? Agenda greater than logic. Look, man, I don't know why Oda would make a 3-act story when I don't know why he would invoke a kabuki structure, which is 5 acts. There's no way to spin that. It is 5 acts. It's pretty much always 5 acts, especially for samurai stories, which this is. I don't know why he would turn it into a 3-act structure if he's just going to make the 3rd act 90% of the story. What the fuck is the point of doing 2 acts before that? Just make it 1 arc then. That's like if you did Dressrosa and you're like, all right, the first 10 chapters is an act, then the next 15 chapters is an act, and then the next fucking 75 chapters, that's act 3. There's no fucking point in divvying up the story if you're going to do it like that. So from my perspective, it's like you wouldn't do an act structure if you're just going to divide the story in like such a weird way, where 1 act takes up everything, and then the other 2 acts are basically a prologue. So my assumption is that it's 5 acts, because that's what kabuki structures are, and that's also just what seems to make more sense based on the length of the acts that we've gotten so far. All right, so are we saying that it is... No, it is just... That's not rocks. You guys had me thinking for a moment, but it's just it's hard to say, because Big Mom wears a hat, Rocks might wear a hat. It's hard to say, man. It's hard to say. It would be really cool if Rocks had the straw at first. It'd be really, really cool. C says Morge, but if Kaido and Big Mom come back awakened, how would the story continue? Because barring a Deus Ex Machina, that would mean that everyone in the Alliance will die. No, I don't know why people keep saying that like if the Beast Pirates win here, that means everyone dies. This is One Piece. Oda can pull anything out of his ass to say that people escape. Okay, this would be like, this is the equivalent to me, like if we're in Enies Lobby, right? Pretend we're in Enies Lobby, and some people are saying, hey, the Buster Call is going to happen. Right? Pretend we're in Enies Lobby, some people are saying, hey, the Buster Call is going to happen. And other people are saying, no, if the Buster Call happened, well, they're stuck on this island, the sea train can't go back, the Rocket Man has crashed, they're fucked. They're basically fucked. There's no escape off at Enies Lobby. If they call a Buster Call, all these Vice Admirals show up, the battleships show up, they basically all die. Therefore, the Buster Call cannot be called. Not true, right? Oda can pull whatever the fuck he wants to pull out of his ass, right? There's probably something that we haven't thought of that he can pull out of his ass and say, hey, Going Merry, it got a brain, it gained fucking sentience, it sailed all the way to Enies Lobby, and it's picking up the crew, and they're all sailing the fuck back. Oda can do whatever, all right? He's Oda. Don't think about that sort of thing. That's not something that most people would have thought of, while Enies Lobby was going on. most people would have been like, hey, the Buster Call is fucking going on. They're all fucking dead, right? How did they sail back? They got in a ship. They got in a train, blah, 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 blah. It's Oda, right? He can make up whatever. There's 10 things that he could make up probably. If you asked me to name some things, it's like they fucking all jump inside Caribou and then Caribou runs away. It doesn't matter. They can escape. They're not all going to die if the raid fails. That's not, like, to me, that's never a real reason because Oda can always make up a reason. You remember in Marineford when it's like everybody, the Whitebeard pirates are fucking dead. Everybody's Whitebeard's dead. The Whitebeard pirates are getting hunted down, blah, 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 blah. And then what? Shanks shows up, stops the war. Oda can do whatever he wants to stop characters from dying anytime, right? Oda can say a character is fucking decapitated, as we saw with Kinemon recently, and then say, hey, you know what? They're not dead because some shit from back in Punk Hazard is still relevant now, and so Law's surgery, or it doesn't matter, Kinemon's still alive. So to me, the idea of like, well, if this happens or that happens and they all die, that's not in One Piece, in the context of One Piece as a story, that's not a good argument in my opinion, because we've seen Oda pull shit out of his ass so many times at this point that he can make any character live at any point if he so chooses. He can make the whole alliance live at this point if he so chooses. There are tons of outs that you could probably think of if you put your mind to it a little bit. Victor Lopez says, even if not, the raid fails, in my heart, love Morge. Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate that sort of energy. I still think it will fail, but look, if it does not, I will concede, I guess, as honorably as I can. I think chapter 1051, basically, if we got no flashback going on at that point, 1051, if we've got no sign of Kaido getting up or anything like that, if after 1051, none of that stuff, I'll say raid didn't fail. I was totally wrong, blah, blah, blah. Probably devote a video to it. Might devote a few videos to talking about it, but we talk about it, we move on. At the moment, that's not what it looks like to me. Zoldan says, off topic, but who has a better character arc, Zuko or Killua? I think Zuko by far. Hot take, and this is not to like hate on Hunter x Hunter or anything. I think Hunter x Hunter is amazing. I think it's amazing for a lot of reasons. I think overall it's definitely better than Avatar: The Last Airbender in my opinion. I don't think Killua is that well written of a character, and I think that the resolution to his primary character conflict in the Chimera Ant arc is basically the worst possible thing you could ever write in for a character. The worst possible thing you could ever write in to resolve a character conflict, because it's not actually resolving a character conflict. In fact, it's basically saying that a character conflict never existed in the first place, therefore the character never had to go through any growth. King K says, this chat is so embarrassing. I feel like I have to compensate you for damages. You can't even get a sentence out without people screaming about copium. Chill the F out, it's a manga. Is that what is mainly being spammed? Is it mainly copium? Because for me, mostly I'm going through the supers, which are mostly nice. I thought there'd be some hate supers, but I don't know. I'm seeing a good mix. I figured that this would be more of a everybody sort of thing rather than my usual viewer sort of a thing, but it's to be expected, okay? It's to be expected. I think this is a good space for everybody. Everybody should talk. Everybody should discuss. I want the variety of opinions. I want the people who basically think that it's not going to end in failure. I want the people who think that it's not going to end in failure, but Kaido might not be done yet. And I want the people who think it's just done, raid succeeded, everything's over. Like, let's be honest, this is one of the most exciting times to, like, be a One Piece fan, right? Like, when have we had, I don't know, like a climax quite like this? Whole Cake Island was a messy climax with a lot of different discussion about how it would play out. But overall, it was like, we all generally understood, I think, at that point that they're going to be getting away from Whole Cake Island and that Luffy versus Katakuri was done and that Big Mom's not going down and things like that. But this is really interesting, right? This next 2 weeks is going to be a really, really interesting time to be a One Piece fan. And I think the discussion that comes out of these next 2 weeks is going to be a lot of fun. And I think, I don't know, it's just a fun time to be a One Piece fan. I think anytime that, like, a lot of discussion is prompted, I don't know, it's just good for the community in general. Jordan Allen says, if raid doesn't fail, it should. Been hard to follow dramatic cues and build up during the raid, all over the place and sloppy, victories feel unearned. I don't want to turn this into something like negative, talking about like if the raid doesn't fail or whatever, blah, 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 how I'd feel about certain things. Why do I still have this comment pinned? Unpinned this. But yeah, I think that look, I don't want to talk about like if the raid doesn't fail, blah blah blah. I'd rather focus more on like if it is or isn't. If it does or doesn't, then like I'll save my thoughts and my reviews, positives, negatives, etc. for after that, basically, right? Mike Sebastian says, I'm not sold on the raid failing now, sorry, but you theorized a long time ago that we'll have Strats versus Kaido, and I would still love to see that. Yeah, for the record, I think that there are many things that could happen without the raid failing still. That would be really, really exciting to see, and I think would make Wano a good story from my perspective, right? I did not think that Luffy beating Kaido here would be one of those things, which is why I hold some of the opinions I do. But Strats versus Kaido, that'd be great. I think I'm going to have to open up that other tab. Give me 1 second. Is this how many viewers show up when there's a chapter that we're talking about on the day of? Maybe I should do streams regularly on those days. It would be, I don't know, it'd be tiring. I don't want to do it on a... I don't like doing a stream on a Thursday. It's like... I don't know, it just gets in the way. Monday is nice and simple. You start Monday off with a stream. It's the only good part of a Monday. It's fun. All right. Let's make... Okay, how many things am I missing? What's even going on? How many things have I missed? C says... No, we covered you. Supreme Pirate King says, Momo has never even used his sword once. He still has a lot of character development left in Wano. Agreed. Amino Habakiri, a better Momo moment. Things like that most likely will come. In my opinion. What says it makes sense. Kaido will awaken, and there's a lot unfinished in this arc. Agreed. But the one thing is, what would happen if the raid fails? Wano just stays held by Kaido, and Luffy tries again later. Agreed. That's 3 more years of chapters. Lol. Look, in my opinion, I never really think about, unless people are talking about like 20 years of chapters, 10 years of more chapters or whatever, I never really think about like, oh, what if the arc is this long or that long? Because it's going to be as long as it needs to be. We know for a fact, I never understand why people are like, Wano can't be that long, because Wano has by far, not even close, the most buildup, right, of any other arc in One Piece. It's not even close. Every single arc since the start of the New World has been directly leading up to Wano. Not like Marineford, where it was like, okay, in post-arc things and stuff like that, it does little tidbits leading up to Marineford. No, this is all one continuous storyline leading to one gigantic finale, which is Wano, which is why, in my opinion, it is very, very possible that Wano is significantly longer than previous arcs. King Kina didn't say anything, but thanks. Honda Gillette says, I read somewhere that 5-act structure is for the rest of this whole story and not just the Wano arc. I think that's very interesting. Your thoughts? I just don't think that's the case. I think it seems very clear that the 5-act structure is a tribute to, Japanese plays and that style of storytelling, which is why it would make more sense for it to be Wano specific. Japanese Jim says, what you sipping on? Your chest looking swole as fuck. Thank you, Jack Honey. Keon Wozniak, there was ice in this, but it's melted at this point. Probably get a refill later. Keon Wozniak says, how do you feel about the reason for Kaido coming to Wano just being the old Kuruzumi lady? I think we need some more clarification on that. I think there's more to it and more to, from the things he said, more knowledge about Joy Boy in general. And how do you know that Joy Boy was the one to defeat him? I think Rox is involved in that. Sarangar says, say that we get 2 chapters of Kaido flashback. He wakes up, awakens, smacks down Luffy, Act 3 ends. How long will Act 4 and 5 be? This is already the longest arc by a mile. I mean, I think Wano can go another 100 chapters. Rajesh Narayan says, damn, Morji looking big. Hey, Rajesh, I'm not going to say anything. I actually sent, never mind. Not going to talk about it here. But there's a business opportunity for you. Rajesh, for those of you who don't know, was one of the finalists for the Morge Image Finder test. Rajesh, there is a business opportunity for you. If you go check your email right now, it's actually very coincidental that you dropped into this chat. But there is a place that we could actually use you, I think. Pepto-Bismol Enjoyer says, I can see Kaido and BM Big Mom getting up, but the raid won't fail. There will probably be a moment where it looks like the raid failed, but the fights will just continue and the Strats will ultimately win. I would like stuff like that. I would like things like that. The raid doesn't need to completely fail for me to enjoy the arc. Obviously, I would still be wrong if the raid doesn't fail, but I'm saying for me to enjoy the arc and really enjoy the way the story turned out, the raid doesn't need to completely fail. Maximiliano Crespo says, damn, you're getting hella money. Look into the Anunnaki and its history. Found some similarities between that and One Piece. It's generally interesting. I never know how much stock to put into, like, oh, check out this or that lore or whatever. It's not always that Oda really uses lore for anything more than, like, some cute references to tell his story. Victor Lopez says, even if not... Nope, we covered this. Zoldan says, off topic, but who has the better... Nope, cover this. King K says, this chat is so embarrassing. Nope, cover this. D... Lajo Boy says, if Vegapunk shows up in Wano, you think he has a cure for failed smiled fruits? No, I think Chopper will have to do that. Jordan Allen says, if the raid doesn't fit... Nope, covered you. Hamza Gillette... Yeah, fuck. Talking so fast now. Hamza Gillette says, the start of the stream feels like it'll be the best... Yep. At this point, it feels like Oda knows about the raid failing theory. Lol. I mean, either he'll do it or not. He doesn't care about me. He doesn't care about random fan theories. He doesn't care about any of the One Piece YouTubers. Trinity of the Phoenix says, I predict the Hito Hito is the only devil fruit whose awakening is tied to a transformation. Aside from Luffy, both Chopper and Sengoku's devil fruits are insinuated to have... Let me talk slower. Are insinuated to have transformations tied to their awakenings. Maybe you're right. I have no way of knowing. Maybe you're right. Cloudy CB says the raid can still fail because didn't Oda say Kaido wasn't the final villain in Wano? I don't think Oda said that. So Kaido defeat is approaching, but someone else is coming. I don't know if Oda ever said that. He talked about a lurking legend, but I don't know if he's talking about that. D-Catch says, looking fit, Morge. Nice shirt. The raid will succeed. Thanks, man. Bassem El Medwahi says, if Oda wanted to write 3 acts, he could have made Act 3 Odin's flashback and Onigashima Act 4. Agreed. However, the Marines can act as the antagonist for Act 4. I just don't know if Oda's going to drag things out like that while, like, it would make... Either you make this a moment of defeat to the main villains of the arc so that the final victory is more impactful, or you just wrap the arc. I don't think dragging it on in some sort of, like, spilling into some new conflict would be particularly good, in my opinion. Terry Martin says, how will you feel if the sum total of Hiyori's vengeance is delivering a monologue while Kazenbo and Denjiro kill Orochi? Really disappointing, in my opinion. I share that same sentiment. Jordan Allen says, Usop screaming at Luffy to get up versus Rob Lucci, except it's Morge screaming at Kaido to get up after Luffy finishes him. Kidding, you're the best, Morge. Thanks, I appreciate it. Although, on that note, let's all think back to, by far, the infinitely, indescribably, immeasurably better conclusion to the true best fight in One Piece, which was Luffy versus Rob Lucci. Go read the conclusion to that fight and the emotions that that conclusion stirs up. The way the flashbacks, you know, the scenes, the character conflicts, etc., all came to a head in that chapter, chapter 427, versus this chapter, and see which seems more climactic. See which seems more like the finish to a Yonko, a Yonko caliber conflict. Christian Baraza says, Raizo's seawater undid Kaido's flame clouds. Do you think the seawater can undo Tama's influence over the gifters? I don't know if it works. I don't think it works like that. It might be one of those things where they have to swallow the seawater, similar to how Usop did with the zombies on Moria's island. Gigatronma says, Straw Hats will fight Awaken Kaido to protect Luffy. To protect Luffy. I would love that. I think that'd be really cool to see. Federico Barros Vito says, Morge, my king is what Luffy said, a world where everyone can eat as much as they like, the dream that he unconsciously shared with Roger. Anybody who believes that, okay, look out for my video Tuesday. I promise it's a good video. Let me drink some water to cancel this out. Tuesday's video, I promise it's a good video. It's on the line that Luffy said this chapter. I think that's very, very important and contextualizes a lot of what Luffy's been saying throughout the story. I'm going to save my thoughts for that video. But I do think Tuesday's video is a very good video. Check that out if you get the chance. Captain Face says, the way Momo dropped Onigashima was anticlimactic. Or was it? Was it? He could have held it up for Awaken Kaido versus Luffy or have it crash into the Flower Capital as the Act 3 tragedy, but now it's obvious the raid fails. I wouldn't say it's obvious the raid fails. I mean, we think over 60% of people thought it's not going to fail, even in this chat. But a lot of people don't know if it's over or not yet, and that's good enough for the moment. DuckDuck20 says, if the raid does fail, I need some major consequences because this has been built up for 400 chapters. I agree. Young Midoriya says ZKK. Cool. Christopher Lee says, if the raid fails, will those turned by Tama return? I don't know. No idea. Mob says, raid failing, not failing. You excited for Summit? I'm excited for Summit. I'm pretty excited for Summit. I generally only watch the last day of Summit at this point, so I'm not as hot on Summit as I used to be. Smash Summit, by the way. For those of you who don't know, new viewers, I'm a Melee fan. But I will watch definitely, obviously, the last day of Summon. Mike says, where do you think Vodka Island is located? In your hearts. P-Max says, Kaido ain't done. Agreed, Luffy isn't final form. I don't know about that. He is still in Mink-style moon form, silly and zany for parties, the true sun god form in day. That would be really cool. If Luffy has a whole nother sun form up his sleeve, that'd be really, really cool to see. Ent Twizlai is God says, do you think Straw Hats will be together at the end of Wano? Agreed. Do you think someone will be separated from the group? No, I think this is an arc where they will finally be together at the end. Freeloader178 says, do you think Luffy will go into the final war as the Pirate King or become Pirate King in the final chapters like Naruto with the Hokage? I think Luffy will go in being proclaimed as Pirate King. I do think that that is the case. Because at that point, I think it'll be a case similar to Luffy as Emperor here. So Luffy went into the Wano arc being called Emperor, right? But we know it's really by the end of the Wano arc that he will be a true Emperor. I think it'll be one of those things where, yeah, I think it'll be like Luffy's, I think people will know that Luffy is kind of the king of the pirates at that point. But I think the One Piece and the acquisition of One Piece will be something that is definitively cemented by the end of the final war. Because, as you might know, I believe that the One Piece, as many have said before, is the destruction of the Red Line, which can't happen till the end of the final war. Leo Recto says, you think Yamato might die because of parallels with Ace? I don't think Yamato will die. Odin, parallels with Ace, parallels with Odin, and Kaido by stealing his dream of grand death. I don't think Yamato will die. I don't think Oda is going to kill a hot girl. I don't think Oda is going to do that. Not in the main story. I don't think he has that in him. That's my opinion. Etam says, if you could only speak in your script voice for life versus going mute for life, which are you picking? I would Etams, think of a better would you rather. That's one of the shittiest would you rathers you could ever think of. It's literally like, if you could only speak versus you could never speak again, which are you picking? It's like, obviously I'm going to pick to be able to fucking speak. Etams, try again. Try better would you rather. That's pathetic. Ivan back from the card shop says, kinda weird that Momo Odin parallel with holding up the island was skipped over. Even if we're getting moments from him later, isn't it? Yes, it is kind of weird that that was skipped over. Sibo says, with this fight seemingly being over, where does the entirety of Luffy versus Kaido fight rank for you? Too hard to tell right now. Let me let it all play out, sink in, give you my opinion on that later. The Messity says, the CP0 agent who escaped will report that Luffy won. The Marines will barge in and inadvertently serve as a diversion for the Alliance to get away. I think that is a really, really, really good possibility, as it was stated that the Marines would only intervene if it was apparent that Kaido was going to be defeated. I feel like I've been talking really fast for a bit of time. Slow it down. Passant Theory says, hashtag raid will fail. Get Arlo HelloFresh sponsorship, please. Arlo, I don't even know what Arlo is. Felix C says, do you think the reason Oda has gone through this arc checklist so far without any emotion, agreed, is that he plans to turn those tropes on their head? Yes, that is what I think. Micah Ellis says, don't forget the Marine ships, though, coming to Wano. Yes, it makes sense that Kaido's kingdom turned him into the Marines. I think this was foreshadowing. That's a good point. Zaibatsu says, if this is really it, do you feel there were no consequences or struggle this arc? I don't consider Luffy being knocked out a bunch as a struggle if he gets back up into the battle shortly after. I'm going to save any thoughts on that till everything is resolved. There's no point in me speaking yes or no without at least from my end. Let's say the raid succeeds. This was the end of the battle. This was it. There was nothing more. Then I have no right to talk about my thoughts on the arc, whether it was good or not, until I have reread basically all of Wano from Act 1, Chapter 1, Chapter 908, Chapter 909, Chapter 909 to Chapter 1049, 1050, 1051, right? No right to talk yes, no, good or bad, whatever, until I've reread the arc from start to finish. So no matter what, once the raid failing or succeeding, let's say it succeeds, right? Let's say it's clear that Kaido is defeated, etc. in the next 2 chapters. If that is clear, then the next thing I will do is go dead silent for a solid week, reread the arc from start to finish, take my notes, analysis, etc. Come back, give my honest thoughts, feelings, reviews, etc. You guys can say biased, whatever you want to say, basically based on that. I'll make my case on how I felt reading from start to finish, because reading from start to finish, you might get a totally different perspective than you had at first. I didn't like Fishman Island when I was reading it weekly. I didn't. I reread it, thought it's a good arc for what it is, which is an intermission between the first and second half of the story. So no matter what, I'm not going to share my opinions on that until I reread the arc and do it the service of that. Zaibatsu says, if this is really it, that's who I was just responding to. DREZ says, who do you think are the 9 shadows from Toki's prophecy? I mean, it's the fucking 9 scabbards, isn't it? Or is it the 9 Strats? We won't get clarification, I guess, because Toki's dead and she never showed up again. And that was just a weird reference to, weird hint at a character who knew about the Void Century, but Oda never deigned to reveal to us. Unless the story continues and we get more information. Katsu Imagitian. What a weird name. Post Wano is going to be crazy. We're already talking about post Wano. Hold on. Wano's not dead and buried just yet. What's the wrap up for all these events? Oh man, you're talking about stuff I don't want to talk about. As the first Yonko defeat, it's interesting how he'll leave the stage. Man, you talk with a lot of finality to your to your statements. Every single one of those is a shot to the heart. All right. D-Cut says, I was clearly wrong. The raid has succeeded. Morge. I never said that. Who are you quoting right here? When did I say that? Shonen Empire says, who do you think burnt the Germa? Burnt the Germa book. Pedro. I don't even know about the cover story right now, guys. I have no idea about the cover story. I think it'd be dope if it's a Blackbeard Pirates doing some shit. Broly Power Maximum says, Act 4, Blackbeard takes over Whole Cake Island. Yeah, maybe. Sounds good. Thomas Kaz says, WIR have teeth. Would you rather have teeth for hair or hair for teeth? No, these aren't fun would you rathers. Look, fun. How do I explain this? A fun would you rather, like, that's just, I'm sorry to be blunt, Thomas. Look, I'm sorry to be blunt, but that's just, it's not, you're no better than the last guy. That's not a fun would you rather. Teeth for hair or hair for teeth. Like, a fun would you rather, it's got to be stuff like stuff that makes you really think, you know? Stuff that makes you really think and get down to the core of what you want out of life versus what you don't want out of life. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's really important. This is some dumb bullshit. Would you rather have teeth for hair or hair for teeth? What the fuck does that even mean? That's... No more would you rathers unless they're good. Broly Power Maximum says, diff of EA lobby. We don't really care about scabbards. Diff of E lobby. We don't really care about scabbards. That's not the only difference between any lobby. There's like a million differences. Like, top to bottom, there's like a million differences. But yeah, sure, that's part of it. Play says, world government barge in during fight to possibly capture/kill Kaido and Luffy. Kaido gets awakening, fights off world government for trying to invade. I do think that, I mean, I've said for a while, going all the way back to my Marines and Wano video, that I do think the world government has a good possible role as being a distraction. That could be one of the routes for the Strahd surviving and escaping. Don't know. Chinho Wong says, drunk Morge equals positive Morge. No, that's not the case. It's just, that's just the honest truth from my mouth. I'm not going to say anything good or bad about Wano until till things seem to have wrapped, and then I will read from start to finish, and then I'll give my opinions after that. The Pirate Hero says, is your video Friday about the Luffy hungry thing? No, my video Tuesday. Not this Friday, so not tomorrow. My video Tuesday is about Luffy. Okay, Luffy, what he said this chapter. That's video Tuesday. I personally think, again, I can't stress this enough, I think that's a good video. I think there's a lot to say about that, in that video. It's not made yet or anything, but like the amount of notes that I basically have coming out of this chapter for that video, it's quite a bit. I think it's going to be a good video. All right. Reframe, restructure, shoot tomorrow, etc. Annotations, editing, blah, blah, blah. But I think it'll be good. The Friday video will be me talking about raid fail shit and how I think basically everything from this chapter points to there being more. Vance Coombe says next Friday. Not this Friday, next Friday. Next Tuesday, Luffy video. Next Friday, raid fail video. All right, that's the general schedule. Pencil it into your calendars, whatever you guys do. Vance Coombs says, Kaido flashback, Luffy sent him 1,000 feet underground, 50 chapter long fight, and you seriously still don't think Kaido didn't just get defeated? Wow. I mean, where'd Onigashima land? Did it like, okay, I'm not going to give my reasons for or against here, because again, I could spend 10 minutes on that. In fact, I will next Friday. Next Friday, look out for the script of me basically talking about why I don't think the fight is over. But it's possible. Let me fully acknowledge, look, I'm just having fun, streaming, etc., blah, blah, blah. Whatever I'm saying here, keep in mind, no matter what I'm saying, I fully 100% acknowledge I might be wrong in the next 2 chapters. It could just be confirmed. Kaido is done, defeated. That's it. That's the end. That is very, very possible. We should all keep that possibility in mind. That's just not what I genuinely, honestly think reading this chapter. And I think that the fact that, a lot of other people don't think that that's the case. A lot of people who are not raid fail believers. A lot of people who just follow TCB scans on Twitter. About 50% don't think that that's the case. I think that does say a lot. So let's just wait. Let's see. Anajagaral says, tell everyone not to spam. I can't hold this fort. I don't even know what do you call? There's too much stuff going on in chat at the moment for me, to keep track of that stuff. So you're telling me to tell everyone not to spam. I can't hold this fort. I need everyone right now to spam copium. Everyone right now. Fuck Anajagaral. Everyone spam the words copium. All right, back to the where are we at? Shonen Empire says, thoughts on the outcome of Kobe Boa situation. What are you taught? Shonen Empire. You know how fucking irrelevant that is right now. Thoughts on the outcome of the Kobe Boa situation. What are you talking? You're at 10:49. You come to this stream. You want to talk about the outcome of the Kobe Boa situation? What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Boa got captured. How about that? And I don't think it was by Kobe, because Kobe can't capture Boa by himself, because Kobe is fucking weak as fuck. That's it. Spoonman says, the fight resumes on mainland Wano for the people to see since the top 4 big bads of the arc are there. I think they were launched to mainland for a reason. I don't know. Maybe. Sounds good. The Pirate Hero says, super chat from Honda Jaled. Besides the raid failing part or not, give your thoughts about the chapter as it was, as if this were a review. Chapter 1050 is going to be a really unexpected chapter. I like this chapter for what it did for Kaido. I think it leaves a lot to, it's so hard to review the chapter because it's so hard to say, am I viewing it? I'm viewing it through the lens as this is not the climax of the fight. So because I'm viewing it through the lens that it's not the climax of the fight, I think it's a good chapter. I enjoyed the chapter, genuinely, honest to God, truth, all right? I enjoyed the chapter because I'm viewing it through the lens that this is not the end of the fight, okay? So I think it did good stuff for Kaido, dropped good hints for Kaido's motivations, and most importantly, had a very, very important line for Luffy that I'm going to be talking about, next Tuesday's video. Pirate says, from Alfred Opong. Hey, Morge, number 1 VOD watcher here. You're the GOAT. Thanks. I'm so happy to know who the number 1 VOD watcher is at this point. Thank you. Anuj Agrawal says, this is my second time timing you out. I'll have to remove you if you spam again. Anuj, I'm sorry that I told them to spam copium. I'm genuinely sorry. Please don't leave forever. It was on a whim. I thought it'd be fun. Grizzly Adams says, One Piece subreddit is clowning the hell out of you right now. What? The One Piece subreddit? And here you are making measured, moderate takes. Class act. Thank you. I appreciate that. The One Piece subreddit, I'll have words with them based on if I'm right or wrong later on. I mean, if I'm wrong, then I got to do a full-on, you got to own it, etc. Do a full-on discussion. Accept that you were wrong, concede, blah, blah, blah. Again, don't expect that in the next, give me 2 chapters, basically. Let's see how this rolls out. If in the next 2 chapters, either A, Kaido gets back up, or B, Kaido's flashback continues, then we're going to wait on it. We'll see, right? But, I mean, there's nothing else to really say. We got to wait out, see how things play out. But I think it is also too early to be declaring victory if you're a raid succeeder, in my opinion. Broly Power Maximum says you have been conditioned 350 chapters of Straw Hat loss. I don't know about that. Kelly Winter says, like the stream, everybody. Everybody listen to Kelly. Everybody like the stream right now. Everybody like the stream. Ivan back from the card shop says, Mr. George, haven't heard that one before. Would you rather raid succeed or be the most successful One Piece YouTuber? Personal success versus story quality. I'd rather... These are both good. Wait, no. One is just good. I think you got it wrong. I think you want to say, would you rather the raid... So I know I made fun of Thomas Kaz earlier for the would you rather, but this is by far a worse would you rather because it makes no fucking sense. All right. Would you rather the raid succeed, so that's a bad thing, or be the most successful One Piece YouTuber, so that's a good thing. What you meant to say is, would you rather the raid fail or be the most successful One Piece YouTuber? I'd probably rather the raid fail because if the raid fails, then one, I think that that's better for the story of One Piece, right? So I'm happy there. Two, I probably end up as one of the more successful One Piece YouTubers. I don't feel I need to be the most successful One Piece YouTuber, and I think it's very hard to catch, like, Grand Line, I don't know what he's at, 1 million subs or some shit like that. But I'd be happy to be one of the most successful One Piece YouTubers. So, second, third place, fourth place, fifth place. Let's not get too low. Let's say second, third place, whatever. That'd be nice. Personal success versus story quality. Yeah, I think both go hand in hand if the raid fails. So, yeah, I'll go with that. Dayday192000 says, sorry to get off topic, but do you think Hunter x Hunter could have been as good as One Piece if the manga finished, or was it still going strong? Hunter x Hunter is very, very hard to tell because it is more arc-to-arc quality. It's more self-contained stories, so there's not nearly as much continuation from setup and build-up and stuff like that between arcs through One Piece. So One Piece is like a constantly building... If I was in a better state of mind, I'd give you a better metaphor or whatever. But it's like a constantly building snowball or something like that, all right? Some shit like that. Hunter x Hunter could have 10 bad arcs in the future. 10 terrible arcs. And it would never affect how good the Chimera Ant arc is. All right, so the Chimera Ant arc would always be good. So Hunter x Hunter, it's like... It's hard to say, would it ever have another arc as good as the Chimera Ant arc? Because it's not so much about building a larger narrative. It's more like every arc Togashi is doing something different. He's playing with a different cast of characters, different concept, even different genre to a degree. So it's really, really hard to say. Whereas One Piece, it's constantly building, adding more layers to the story, picking back up on what it was setting up before, things like that. So it's just hard to say. Like, yeah, maybe Hunter x Hunter would have like 5 more arcs like the Chimera Ant arc. Maybe it would have 5 more ants, like 5 more arcs like the election arc. Like, we don't know. Could be totally different ends of the spectrum. Why is everyone spamming copium? Is it because I told you guys to do that? All right. I need to take a quick break in a second. Where did we end up? Hold on. Joseph1209 says, very random, but any chance Luffy's heartbeat after awakening is what woke Sanji up and is what keeping Zoro alive? Just seeing Frankie carrying him casually while he's fighting to stay alive is intriguing to me. No, I don't think it's Luffy's heartbeat or anything like that. I think Sanji woke up of his own accord. Not of his, like, sensing, I guess, like an awakening for Luffy, and Zoro's obviously still knocked out. DREZ says, if Kaido gets back up, do you think we will see Strauss versus Kaido? No, we covered this. No, we didn't. It would be a nice parallel to the Oars versus Strauss, and we could get more focus on Kaido wanting to break the Strauss spirits. I would love that. In that case, I'm not going to say, like, oh, raid failed, blah, blah, blah. I think that would be really, really, really cool if we got something like that, and that's something I've talked about in past videos. Christian Danatwari says, just read the chapter in the raid. Just read the chapter and the raid has to fail. There's so much left to Wano. Keep up the great work. We'll find out, man. Khaled Suleiman says, the reveal on Kaido being Joy Boy, believing Joy Boy is the one who will defeat him, gives you couldn't be Joy Boy either more context. Maybe he doubles down on that. It's a good point. Look. Trinity of the Phoenix says, I'm reading it as I speak. Would you rather the raid fail or to take another sip for Jack Daniels? Plus, you have to throw out that Jack if it does fail. Blue says, will you cry on live Will I cry on live if the stream if the stream fails? Also, Zanisha diddled elephant minx. This is a bit much. The answers to that are yes. I will cry on live if the stream fails. Although it doesn't really make any fucking sense because if the stream fails, then how are you gonna catch me crying? The stream would be over. Also, Zanisha diddled elephant minx. I agree with that 100%. All right, guys. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be back in a second. All right, where were we at? Dristian Dantawari says, just read the... No, we covered you. No Brain says, Momo's moment was meh this chapter. Look, if you have a magnifying glass or a fucking microscope and you pour over this chapter, you will find a shining moment of brilliance from Momonosuke. It's there. It's a couple sneakily hidden panels, but you'll find it. Maybe he'll get a bigger moment... Sorry, there's a car outside. Maybe he'll get a bigger moment later that sets him apart from Odin since the obvious parallel with him was skipped. I have a theory from Momonosuke that is so stupidly bold that I'm saving it for after if things start going south for the Alliance, then I'll drop my theory for Momonosuke. But I think it's an amazing theory. And I can say that because this is my stream, it's my channel, right? I think it's a great theory, all right? I genuinely think I have a great Momonosuke theory, but I gotta wait to see a couple things before it happens. Otherwise, it just sounds like I'm talking about some crazy stuff. Most people think I'm talking about some crazy stuff, even just saying that like the Strats might lose here, right? Felix C says, do you ever see a deconstructive arc in One Piece's future? It's hard to say. You could actually argue that Marineford was a deconstructive arc. Marineford was, and I talk about this in my Marineford arc analysis, Marineford was an arc that was really framed from start to finish to be like the ultimate shonen arc. You know what I mean? The ultimate arc of like everything on the line for the hero. Everything on the line for the hero. The hero goes through, he goes through everything. He makes friends with past enemies. He goes to hell and back, like literally hell and back. He fights the devil. He overcomes death like 10 times over. He has like multiple miraculous resurrections, right? Things where it's like, you're done, you're finished, right? Through sheer willpower, he gets back up, goes through like hormone transplants and things like that, and like this surgery and things like that. Like, he goes through so many things. He allies with, he like goes all the way to the center of the world, finds Whitebeard, allies with Whitebeard, even successfully gets Ace back from, from the brink of execution. He does everything. It's the ultimate shonen arc that ends in, it's so good. There's no other arc like Marineford. No other arc like Marineford. No arc, not in manga, not in whatever, not in like fiction in general that I have read. There's no arc where a hero I've read gives that much over that period of time and like falls down, gets back up, falls down, gets back up that many times over like 100 chapters and still ultimately loses. That's why Marineford's so cool. I do think Marineford would count as like a major subversion, although people might not intuitively think of it like that because One Piece is not, it's not like it's not really known for subverting tropes, rather executing well-known shonen tropes really, really well. But Marineford, I would say, would count as that. Zaibatsu says, if Kaido is done, how would Oda be able to get around the idea that Luffy is now the world's strongest since he beat the world's strongest creature? Wouldn't it erase a lot of tension of the threats of future villains? I mean, okay, so let's say if Kaido is done, right? If Kaido is done, then there's things that you could invoke, like, for example, very next arc, Luffy could run into Shanks and find out that Shanks is just as strong as he is or something along those lines, in which case it raises the idea that, like, okay, just because Kaido is considered the world's strongest creature doesn't necessarily mean that he was the world's strongest, right? So that's a possibility. 2 is basically if you want to look at upcoming villains, someone like Blackbeard, right? Maybe Luffy takes that mantle of strongest, but then Blackbeard picks up another fruit. And then suddenly Blackbeard looks even more intimidating than Kaido, right? Im, because Im, as far as anybody knows, didn't exist in the world. Most people don't know about Im's existence, so it's entirely possible that Im is stronger than, a Kaido, a Kainu, Shanks, etc. That's entirely possible. So I guess there's different routes Oda could go. So a character like Blackbeard getting a new power-up, character like that puts him over the top, above what any of the other emperors are at, or a character like Im being revealed to be stronger than the emperors, things like that. There's things that Oda can do. A Kainu getting advanced Conqueror's Haki. There's so many things that Oda could do, I think. Angel says, hey Morge, off topic, but I finished Berserk. You finished Berserk, or you got to where Berserk kind of ended. I'm sad. Hope to see you talk about it one day. There are rumors that Berserk will be picked up. Obviously, it will not be written with the same nuance or substance that Miura had, but hopefully he can follow a similar outline and we can at least see what the direction he had in mind for the story was. So I'm not completely writing off Berserk just yet, but obviously a tragedy would happen there. And I do hope to talk about it one day on this channel. Anuj Agrawal says, Anuj/Pirate here defeated. Chat ends in failure. GG. No, I need you guys so bad. You guys gotta. I'm sorry that I told him to spam Copium. I just thought it'd be funny in the moment. But that was just some terrible decision making in the moment. Sorry about that. Broly Power Maxim says, you want any slobby, but the crew had no drama. Agreed, but I think that they still can, and I still think that there's room for that in this arc. Shonen Empire says, I need redemption. If Luffy is defeated, do you think Zoro will take lead of the crew to protect Luffy until he wakes up? I mean, if that's the route that Oda goes immediately afterwards of the Strahds fighting Kaido, I think that would be great. I would love to see that. Strong parallels to Thriller Bark, which we of course know that this arc, Thriller Bark of course heavily foreshadows a lot of events of this arc. Bob Loris says, will you cry when Amitabh Bachchan passes away? So Amitabh Bachchan, for those of you who don't know, is the biggest star in Bollywood history. The biggest star in Bollywood history. Maybe some of you have heard of Shah Rukh Khan. I don't know if some of you have. Maybe you have or haven't. But Amitabh Bachchan is him like times 10 in terms of stardom. I do not personally have a strong attachment to Amitabh Bachchan. His movies were a little bit before my time, but obviously my parents have a huge attachment to him. So I'm not going to cry when Amitabh passes away, but it will be, I don't know what to say. It's hard to describe because there's no equivalent in the Western world in terms of the caliber of star that Amitabh was for the, for India's population. So it'll be a big moment. Broly Power Maximum says, I'm getting inverse Alabasta vibes. Don't know what you mean by that necessarily, but I'm gonna assume you're a pro raid failure. So yeah, let's do it. Paravision says, how much do we have to give? Do we give to get you a more ergonomic chair? You guys don't like this? What's wrong with this? This is a chair that I assembled myself. So it's very precious to me. Okay? It's an IKEA chair. I assembled it myself. It is a very good chair. Note one key component of this chair. So you see how this kind of like bends upwards and this bends downwards, right? That's because I assembled it wrong. It's supposed to all go in one direction, but I did it wrong, so it's flipped upside down. So as you can understand, this chair is very dear to my heart. That being said, I hate this chair and I want to get a new one. It's not even like I can't get a new one. It's one of those things where I've been putting it off, but I got to get a chair basically soon. Hey, wait, actually, hold on. Let me do a quick poll. What color chair should I get? Black, because this is something that I've been going back and forth on. Black, gray, beige. I don't know what the other colors are. Brown. Isn't brown like the same thing as beige? People want a black chair? Yeah, black would be good, right? Black would be good. I think I'll get a nice black chair. I think that's the right answer. Not much more to it than that. Probably get a black chair. I could have easily gotten a chair like a long... Okay. So, first real quick before I continue with the supers, let me explain something. With the last video, a lot of people thought I had upgraded my background. This was in fact false. All I did was basically I was in my hometown for a week, which means I got to shoot a couple videos at my producer's place, editor's place, whatever you want to call him. That's where I used to shoot my videos. I would just go over to his house. Basically, you'd set up all the camera and everything like that, and I would just shoot there. All right? So I got to shoot a couple videos there. A lot of people were like, whoa, Morge inspired by that Liam video, that Grand Line Review video, dude in a room, right? He realized that he needs to fix his background and stuff, right? Listen, I did not fucking move to a totally different new location just because of a video that was put out about how I should improve my production quality, all right? I did not move cross country because of a video, all right? Let's make that very clear. I still live in the same space. My background is still the same. However, there are changes coming to the background, okay? There are changes coming to the background. You guys saw the positive titles. That's a change. You guys saw the new thumbnail. Custom artist. That's a change. Background in general is being changed. There'll be stuff in the back very, very soon, I promise you. It just doesn't work that fast. Including this chair. That'll probably be the last to go because it's so precious to my heart. And, yeah, it's just the way it is. I made this chair. Did I mention that a few times? Did I mention that this chair is something that I created? And you guys might want to make fun of that, but I guarantee you guys have never made a chair in your lives, so you have no idea how difficult it is. Abhinav Naker Rekanti says, not sure if this was already discussed, but Kaido mentions that Joy Boy might be someone King is also waiting for. What are your thoughts on that? I think that would be really interesting to see basically the Lunarian and everything to do with those hieroglyphics that Oda showed in the NL cover story. That's something that Oda is holding very, very close to his chest. So the idea that they are all aware, potentially even tied to the D-Clan, very integral to the story of the D-Clan, etc., and that they're very aware of the story of Joy Boy, that's stuff that, King's knowledge definitely hints at. Tyler Grimsley says, off topic, but I always wondered why you dislike Jinbei. Very, very simple reason. I actually am okay with Jinbei at this point. It went in a few phases. First, I was like, oh, I like Jinbei because Oda said that Jinbei would be Indian if he was a real world nationality, right? I'm Indian, so I'm like, haha, Jinbei is my favorite character now, right? In a non-joking way, I'm not going to say I like Jinbei, but like, I'm cool with Jinbei at this point. The reason I disliked Jinbei for a long time was because I feel that we had hit a point in the Straw Hat crew of diminishing returns, where basically a lot of characters were getting less and less and less screen time, panel time, story time, etc. Character focus, character development, whatever the fuck you want to say, as the story went on. And part of that was due not just to the fact that they were getting so many more allies and focus on outside characters, side characters, etc., as happened more as we progress through the New World, but also just because there's a lot of Straw Hats. Having a cast of 9 characters, it's a lot. Having a main cast of 9 characters is a lot. Okay? So, to me, any new Straw Hat that we are to get, it has to really, really, really be justified in a way. You know, like, it has to really, really feel like we're getting something that is adding a significant and really, like, a component to the crew that adds to the dynamic and makes the dynamic more fun, more entertaining in a way, right? So to me, basically, like, once you're at 9 Straw Hats total, like, anybody that you add has to be absolute fucking gold, right? That's my mentality. And instead we get fucking Jinbei, who is like a vanilla, boring ass, dull, old, middle-aged fogey who's a very, very honorable, very, very... He's not rough around the edges in any sense. He's very, you know, how do you want to say, like, clean-cut, honorable. He's got no real character flaws. That's a significant aspect of it, whereas every single other Straw Hat has a notable flaw. Jinbei has no flaws. Jinbei has no character flaws, really, that you can point to. You know, like, there's things he's not necessarily good at, but he has no clear character flaws, and he was not introduced like that. So to me, Jinbei was not a particularly interesting, dynamic character to add to the crew. It was adding another character for the sake of adding another character. That was my take on Jinbei. At this point, Jinbei's been around for a bit. I've, like, it's been like years. I don't care anymore. I'm just like, yeah, fuck, Jinbei's a Straw Hat. You know, he's a Straw Hat, cool. I don't dislike Jinbei as a character individually. So to me, the fact that he's at a Straw Hat at this point, it's like worn off. I don't really care about that anymore. I don't have anything negative to really say about that anymore, other than like, all right, he fucking joined, cool. As an individual character, I think he's okay. Peter Andre Resurrected says, thoughts on Shanks going to Wano? It would work if Elbaf is next arc or if the raid fails. I don't think Shanks is going to Wano. I do think the next arc is Elbaf, and I think that's where they'll see Shanks. He also said Big Mom also loses here versus Luffy if Elbaf is next arc. I do think Big Mom loses here. Mr. Crescent, what's up? I must say, if Kaido is really done and beaten here, he's by far the most disappointing villain and is on par with fairy tale villains. Nothing to say to that. I will hold my tongue. Joseph1209 says, so the existence of rocks is the worst thing to happen to Kaido's flashback. I'm not sure if it will pay off eventually, but do you think it detracts from the story of Wano if we don't get a full Kaido flashback? I'm not going to hold my tongue here. I will say, honestly speaking, I do think it detracts from the story of Wano if we do not get a more thorough Kaido flashback, in my opinion. DR says the legendary wood D chair. See, you get it. It's a legendary chair. It's a great chair. It's actually a terrible chair. I hate sitting on it, but I made it, so I gotta live with it. D-Kutch says, will the bold Momo theory make the raid fail theory look cute? No, it's an offshoot of that. This chat has been a lot of fun. We want to see more drunk Morge phases. I don't know how often I want to do that, because normally I do streams on Monday, and Monday's just like, it's a long day. I'm not going to be drinking at the end of a Monday. It's not going to make the raid fail theory look cute. I think the raid fail theory is too major for anything to make it look cute, really. But the Momo theory is an offshoot of that. Ramona Villa says, here, get a new chair fund. Thanks. To be clear, the reason I've not gotten a new chair, I don't want to mislead you guys into donating super chats for the sake of helping me get a new chair. I can afford a new chair. I promise. I can afford a new chair. It's more so Morge is not very, I guess, proactive in changing things in terms of production quality, etc. Outside of actual, I do the scripts, etc. That's what I mainly care about, the content, the actual scripts. Beyond that, I kind of let everything else sort itself out. My production guy, my editor, I rely on him for a lot of that. I do know I need to improve overall the background, so that's happening. Certain things have been ordered. You guys will see in the next week or so, basically. I've not ordered a new chair yet, so I guess I appreciate the donation to the chair fund, but I just want to make it clear that that's something that I've been aware of for a bit, and the chair is going to change regardless of whatever. Also, stop the Okay, Ramona Villa says, also stop the copium. The raid is over, even if Kaido is not done. God damn. Thanks, Ramon. Thanks. Ivan back from the card shop. I reject your chair donation. I'm not going to use this on the chair fund. I'm going to use your super chat on something stupid, like, I don't know, a burger or something like that. I'm not using it for the chair fund. Ivan back from the card shop says, blue chair to Rep Fishman. No, I'm sorry. The black chair vote was what won out in the end. Bob Laura says, do you think rereading One Piece will be kind of ruined after it's complete since the mystery factor will be gone? I felt that way for Attack on Titan. No, because I think Attack on Titan is a series that lived off of the mystery more. Like, you read the first chapter of Attack on Titan, and the thing that you're most enamored by is the mystery, right? The first thing in Attack on Titan that you're most taken in by is the mystery. One Piece, I think a lot of people don't really care what the One Piece is till we get, like, kind of deep in the story. Like, One Piece, I think, like, you can read 100 straight chapters of One Piece and not really care what the One Piece is. You can not really care what a lot of the mysteries of the world is. And that's part of the beauty of One Piece. Like, it's very, very like, in a given individual arc, you can be really, really sunken into the story of that specific arc and what's happening in that specific arc, the characters, the emotions, etc. of that specific arc, right? And that's the beauty of One Piece, that, like, as soon as you step out of that, and it's like in between arc time or end of saga, etc., and then, like, the larger world keeps expanding, and you start realizing that, like, okay, the micro journey and the micro adventures, they're not even the best part. This macro adventure that's shaping up is way, way, way more interesting than I thought it would be. But you can still always really enjoy those micro adventures and not even think for a second about what the broader context of everything is. What's the One Piece? What's the true nature of the world, etc.? What's the true history, right? I think Attack on Titan, a lot of it early on, and a lot of the allure of the series really, really is what is the truth of the world and what is the truth about the Titans. So I think it's just two different things. And One Piece is so good. Like, just think about that. Like, the lore and mysteries of One Piece, it's as good as any other series. Like, as good as any other series out there. Like, as good as, like, the lore, mystery of the world, etc. That's as enticing, as, as interesting, as intriguing, whatever, as something like Attack on Titan. You can spend as long thinking about One Piece mysteries as, like, Attack on Titan theories, etc. could. But all of that is just one small facet of what makes One Piece so good. You could go 10 One Piece arcs without thinking once about what the truth about the One Piece is. You could go all of the first 450 chapters all the way up to Thriller Bark, like first 500 chapters, without thinking once about what the actual One Piece is, what the true nature of the world is, any of that, right? You can just be sunk into the individual enjoyment of each singular adventure arc. That's pretty beautiful, isn't it? Right? Billy Jefferson Lascano says, will you create a guide on doing analysis? No, that'd be kind of like, I never really know how to address questions like this, because, like, it's like, what do I even say? Like, I could, but I think it would be kind of cringe and kind of like, I think people would view it as too egotistical or whatever, like, more just doing a guide on how to do analysis. Like, that's, it comes off the wrong way, I think. I'd rather just, like, do what I do and talk about the things that I think are interesting, and then you can take it however you take it. You can think the analysis is good, bad, whatever, and pick up from that whatever you want to pick up, Jinmo Ride 255 says, this stream going in the vault, never to be seen again, you're going off. Nah, it'll go in the Morge Streams channel, don't worry about that. For those of you who don't know, there's a channel called Morge Streams. where all my streams are uploaded. Go check out that channel. People wonder why the streams don't end up on this channel. It's because YouTube algorithm just works in certain ways. But Mord Streams is a channel. Go check out that channel. Shawnee G says, what do you mean when you said it had failed? The raid can be a success by preventing Onigashima falling on the capital and breaking up Kaido Orochi control of Wano. Yeah, I don't think that they will break up the Kaido Orochi control of Wano. I mean, maybe the Orochi part of it, but I think that at the end of the day, the Alliance loses here. I think the Kaido and the Beast Pirates ultimately come out on top. It's not that much more complicated than that. And I'm not going to pull a thing where I'm like, oh, well, like I think it's not going to be that difficult to say if the raid succeeded or failed. You know what I mean? Like, it's who won in the end, right? If Kaido and the Beast Pirates kind of come out on top in the end, we'll say the raid failed. If Wano is freed, liberated, etc. at the end, we'll say the raid succeeded. I don't think there's that much nuance to it, and I'm not going to try and like argue technicalities over it. Overanalyze says, what do you think about Im-sama Devil Fruit could be? I don't know, but it might be like some really broke OP Devil Fruit or something. Super Sick 1 says, what has to happen for the raid to fail? I think it starts with Kaido defeating Luffy here. I think that's what it starts with. Anon123, no real donation, thanks. Anon123, you tried again. Okay, you tried 3 times. Let me get your third try. Kaido said, Haki is the most important, not Devil Fruits. Why would he go back on that to turn to the tide / win at this stage with the Devil Fruit awakening? My personal opinion is that it's possible that with Zoan Fruit's awakening, like, it just puts you into a more... I mean, we're not seeing that as much with Luffy, right? We're not seeing that as much with, like, Luffy's awakening or anything like that. But at the very least, I think with other Zoan awakenings that we've seen, the Impel Down Guards, etc., it might just put you in a more aggressive state in general. We saw Kaido's Haki beginning to get stronger. I forget which chapter it was. Might be 1037, something along those lines. Might be 1037. We saw Kaido's Haki. I'm actually looking it up right now. You know, the angrier that he got, the more berserk that he got, we saw his Haki start to increase. I think it is 1037. Yeah, like things like that. Like we just saw that the strength of his rage, etc., basically began to influence the power of his Haki, with Luffy even commenting that it's beginning to get stronger, etc. I think his awakening, you know, it plays into, obviously, like physical fighting, which is what Haki is mainly about. But more importantly, it might just like put him into a state where he's just going berserk overall. And that plays into how strong your Haki is. That's my thought. But obviously, as I've been saying throughout the stream, maybe I'm wrong, but just from what I'm looking at right now. And if you're asking me to guess. John Ross says, you're going to take the biggest W or the biggest L in One Piece fandom history. That's exciting on its own. That's exciting, like, on its own. Like, either it's the biggest W or it's the biggest L. Look, we're going to find out in the next few weeks. We're going to find out in the next few weeks. I respect the commitment. Still on the Strats versus Kaido train. And again, if the raid doesn't fail, but we get Strats versus Kaido, I'll be very, very personally happy about that. Obviously, I'll still be wrong, but I will enjoy that. Like, that's something that I would really, really look forward to. And I think that's something that a lot of the arc has actually been building towards. So I would love to see that. All right. So, I think I'm mostly caught up on supers pretty much. Let me run through these last ones. Arape16 says, will you upload more videos to the movie channel? Not for the time being, not for the moment, but that is something I really, I promise you want to get back into. Stefan Green says, which Zoro plot thread do you want to see resolved the most? At least tell us where the fuck he's from. Tell us if he's from Wano. Tell us if he's from Wano. Give us the... I'm not going to say anything about Zoro. How are you going to show us this fucking Zoro grandpa dude in chapter 1048? How are you going to show us that guy? And then just leave Zoro's plot thread completely alone. Like, you didn't just show us this fucking uncle or father or granddad or some shit. I don't even, like... What the fuck is... I have half of my... If I pull this panel up, this whole stream might get taken down. But we all know what I'm talking about. Look at fucking 1048. What is this shit? I'm looking at it. I'm going to look at it right now. Showing us the daimyos. showing us the daimyos. It's like, all right. Someone's unsheathing their sword. All right, Daimyo of Udon. All right, Daimyo of Ringo. Oh, it's fucking Zoro. It's fucking the Daimyo of Ringo is fucking Zoro. Oh wait, it's Zoro, but he looks a little bit older. But it's still fucking clearly Zoro. Who the fuck is this guy? Why the fuck would you include this if it's not gonna lead to anything? What the fuck is this? What Zoro plot thread would I want resolved? It's not even like I want this resolved. I'm just like, this is fucking bizarre. What the fuck is this? This is just Zoro. Let's keep rolling. Bunfagum says, why did you take down your chapter reviews? This is a little bit YouTube sort of, it's just YouTube algorithm shit. It's nothing, don't worry about it too much. Chapter reviews, if you're interested in chapter reviews, go to Morge Archives. I don't advertise this channel, but all my chapter reviews, you can easily find them. They're on Morge Archives. It's literally basically, here's the thing. All right. For those of you who don't know much about the YouTube algorithm, it's pretty straightforward. Basically, YouTube kind of tracks how your videos do over time, and it uses that to adjust how it promotes your videos in the future, okay? With chapter reviews, here's what happens. New chapter comes out. Chapter review drops. Everybody watches first day, second day. Third day, less people care about a chapter review. By the fourth day, who the fuck is watching a chapter review? You guys are all done with it. You know, you've already read the chapter. You've already watched your chapter reviews. Fifth day, it's getting like no views. Okay, so basically, gist of it is chapter reviews. Chapter reviews have very poor long-term viewership. They're like flash in the pan, very good viewership initially. Then post chapter review, nobody really cares about it. Okay, I don't care about that personally, but the YouTube algorithm does. So the YouTube algorithm is noticing that, and it's basically saying, okay, half your videos, for a long time, half my videos were chapter reviews. It's saying basically, oh, so people like watching your videos for a little bit, for a few days, but then after that, they don't want to watch it anymore. That's basically it. That's how the algorithm works. And then that negatively affects other videos I do that are not chapter reviews. So basically, from my perspective, it's like, I'll release chapter reviews. I'm not going to keep them up on the main channel that long. I'll move them to another channel so they still exist. Everyone can still go watch them, etc. But the algorithm is not biased based on how the chapter reviews did. Does that make sense? Because otherwise it's going to be like, okay, for all Morge videos, the viewership averages seem to indicate that nobody has interest in watching them post 5 days. Therefore, we're not going to promote them that much. It makes it harder for other videos to gain traction. That's basically it. That's how the YouTube algorithm kind of works. There's nothing more complicated to it than that. I still like I want to do the chapter reviews, basically get them out. I still want them to be up and available for everyone to watch. That's why I made a separate channel where basically I'll move the chapter reviews from A to B. It's called Morge Archives. You can find it easily. That's pretty much it. Papa Dog Sucker says, what do you think about Usop beating drums in the panel where Luffy looks like Joy Boy? Do you think this could tie in with Wano, kind of like any slobby? I mean, yeah, we know the drums, liberation, and everything like that. Good foreshadowing on Oda. I don't know how much it's going to tie into Wano specifically, but that's basically it. Amber229 says, super out of context. Morge, you're super handsome. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Mr. Crescent says, do you think Whitebeard could have gone to Laughtail maybe alone or with Roger, and that's how he confirmed that it was real? I don't think Whitebeard, I think Whitebeard would just take Roger's word on it, Mr. Crescent. I think he would just take Roger's, Roger's not the type to lie. Whitebeard would never doubt Roger on that. So, yeah. Bob Loris says, off topic, any sports manga that you like? When I was in my younger days, I was a Prince of Tennis fan. I enjoyed reading Prince of Tennis. Nowadays, I realize how ass it is. But I also played tennis when I was younger, so it was kind of fun, right? You're playing the game and also you read a manga about it. Prince of Tennis fan. I enjoy the anime Ping Pong, the animation. I think Ping Pong is a really good anime. But in terms of actual sports anime, no, I don't read Haikyuu. I don't read Slam Dunk. I don't read what's the other one? What's that other one? Is it Real? Is that my crazy? Basketball manga. What is it? Slam Dunk. Kuroko no Basket. What's Real? Might be totally wrong on that. Might be some incorrect word association. No, Real is a wheelchair basketball. Okay, so they got manga for everything. They got like 10 different basketball manga. I read none of them. That's all you need to know. Tyler Grimsley says, still waiting on a Zoro leadership moment. Agreed. If it's an arc about leadership, it literally started with Zoro saying, I'm going to round up the Wano Samurai. Ended up led into Zoro basically ignoring everybody else and doing his own lone wolf thing for the entire arc. But it's an arc about leadership, Conqueror's Haki, Zoro's achieving Conqueror's Haki this arc, etc. I think it would be great if, I think it would personally be great if, swap those words around. I personally think it would be great if Zoro got a really good leadership moment this arc. Johnny Jaggerman says, love your One Piece stuff. Have you considered starting a basketball channel? Love seeing your takes on Twitter, LMAO. I have said very little on Twitter. I've just liked and retweeted stuff. I would be dishonest if I said that I watched the NBA enough these last 2 seasons to be doing anything close to a basketball channel. As others, such as Anuj Agrawal, if he's still here, have called me out on. Okay? I'm probably closer to a casual NBA fan than like a hardcore NBA fan. But I used to be a hardcore NBA fan. It's just the last couple seasons, time-wise, I've been less able to follow games. So I only watch like, marquee matchups and shit like that. And obviously the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. But like the players that I stand, the teams that I stand, etc., that still burns hot inside my soul. So I'm going to retweet, etc., basically. Basketball podcast, I think I'm not. There was a time that I could have done that. With one of my closest friends who basically we did used to talk NBA quite a bit. It would have been fun to do a basketball podcast. We even talked about that for a bit, but at this point, I'm not qualified to do that. You got to be watching all the NBA games to do that. You got to be watching NBA every day. And the last 2 years, I've not been doing that. Ramona Villa says, here, get a burger, bum. Raid still failing plus ZKK, stop drinking. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Pepper says, didn't Oda not want Luffy to win with a big punch? Yet here we are, Paper. Yet here we are. Hold on. Paper. Hold on. Okay, so Paper is a large YouTube channel. I've seen a little bit. You notice when people comment and they've got a check mark next to their names. Notice, I don't have a fucking check mark next to my name. I have like 150, 60,000 subs. No check mark next to my name. YouTube has not decided to give me that honor. That's cool. So Paper is a large YouTube channel that I guess has been commenting recently. Nice to see you, man. I don't know exactly what you do. I'm browsing your channel right now. You seem to be doing a lot of tricks. I'll check it out at some point. Tricks with knives? Tricks with some stuff. Butterfly knives, stuff like that. That's pretty cool. Paper has 110,000 subs. He has a check mark next to his name. Must be nice. Must be nice having that check mark. I bet if you have the check mark, nobody spams in your chat copium. That must be nice. Would be nice to have that experience, but here I am, checkmarkless. Peter Andre Resurrected says, what do you think Usop's big moment is? It might be him being tortured, but affirms his loyalty to Luffy and reveals that he's Conqueror's Haki. I don't think Usop reveals Conqueror's Haki this arc, in my opinion. I think that's something that will come later on towards the end game of his story. But I do think it's something with Usop under torture or under torture, under duress, being, under pain of death, etc. I've been back from the card shop says top One Piece characters for playing basketball. Dude, to be honest, I would just pick the 4 emperors. They'd fucking dominate. 4 emperors, probably some admirals, shit like that. It's like basketball would just be a thinly veiled excuse for them to use their hockey and beat up on each other. First name, last. Honestly, actually, I have no idea how the games are going right now. Please tell me the Mavs won this game and it's going to game 7. I'm about to look it up right now. I don't actually care about the Heat. The Mavs won? Is this what the I was I was I was I was not a believer when I googled this. The Mavs won? We're getting game 7 of Mavs Suns? Holy shit. That is, what day do we get that? Is it Saturday? Any non-basketball fans, let me clarify. The simplest way I can say is basically it's like it's Sunday. It's Sunday. Imagine reading. Okay, let me put it in One Piece terms. One Piece terms. Imagine reading that. What's the simplest way to say it? Imagine reading that the Bartolomeo Pirates, led by Bartolomeo, somehow just beat, I don't know, the Doflamingo family. Something like that. I think that's accurate. Honestly, I guess the closest thing would be reading, like, you're just reading the news and you're like, oh, fuck, the Straw Hat Pirates just beat the Beast Pirates. Like, that's not supposed to happen. That is so dope. And fuck Devin Booker. Because fuck that dude. 6 for 17, 19 points. Fuck that dude. All right. Back to the stream. All right. First name, last name says, do you buy the theory that Monster Point Chopper... Hold on, let me expand this. That Monster Point Chopper is Chopper's awakening. I do actually buy that theory. I think that's a great theory, and I think that's pretty cool. It's similar to Impel Down Wardens, but also suggests that Zone awakenings can be tamed. Yeah, I actually did buy that theory for a long time. I think that might be the case. Etam says. That's funny. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny, dude. That is a hard call on how I announce supers. Polar Man says, for basketball, Vanderdecken. Vanderdecken would be able to throw anything anywhere, so that's accurate. Okay, so we're all caught up. All right. Okay. Let's look at some normal chats at this point. Wait, I missed some supers? No, I didn't. Unadragable says, Miss Super from Zaibatsu. Can you imagine if Kaido isn't finished? How long will you brag for, be honest? I'm not going to brag for jack shit. I promise you this. I'm not going to brag for anything unless the raid fails. All right? How do I say this? Ian Adams says, you did Luca so wrong. Haha. No, I don't mean anything. Okay, I probably said that poorly. I don't mean anything negative about Luca. I think Luca might be... I'm not quite as hot on him as some people are. Some people are like, he's the fucking future of the NBA, whatever. I don't personally... I think he's definitely a superstar for many years to come, for sure. I don't think he's going to be like dominating the NBA for years. I think he'll sneak in a championship here or there or something at some point. So I'm not as hot on Luka as some people are. But I didn't mean like anything by saying he's Bartolomeo. I meant more so like, proportion, scale-wise, right? So let's say... It's the same way I said, like, imagine if you read tomorrow that the Straw Hats beat the Beast Pirates, right? Straw Hats are supposed to be like this tiny little crew, led by this intrepid little captain, Luffy, right? How are they going to beat the Beast Pirates? Oh, they did? That's crazy. It's amazing. That's what I meant. The Mavericks are not supposed to beat the Suns. There's no world where the Mavericks are supposed to beat the Suns. It is embarrassing that the Suns are going to Game 7 with the Mavs. That is embarrassing. But... Look, if Kaido's not done here, I'll obviously be happy about that and excited about that. But and I will probably reference that, like, hey, that's something I've said for the last few videos that I think Kaido's not done. I think he'll probably get up after this clash, etc. Right? I'll probably talk about that. I'm not gonna help being able to talk about that, but I'm not gonna act like, oh, like. That means that I was correct all along, because no matter what, at the end of the day, what I've been saying all along is that the raid will fail. If the raid doesn't fail, I was wrong, right? I might be right about some things. I might be right about several things. But the biggest thing is whether the raid fails or succeeds. So if it fails, then I was right about the biggest thing. If it succeeds, then I have to acknowledge that at the end of the day, the biggest point in terms of what I was trying to push was incorrect. But I think I'll be right, so we'll find out. Polarman says, for basketball, Vanderdecken. Yeah, we just covered you. The Pirate here says, I feel like comparing Luca to Bartolomeo is low-key disrespectful due to Supernova at the very least, and I don't think that's a very controversial take. Yeah, I think I meant more so, I was trying to put it in terms of, like, scale to scale, right? So, like, let's say, okay, here, let's be fair to Luca. I'll say it's like waking up tomorrow and reading that. Imagine, yeah, I guess the simplest way is imagine the Straw Hat Pirates you find out tomorrow beat the Beast Pirates. That's basically what it is. Like, Luffy, we all know he's an up-and-comer. He's got a good crew or whatever, right? The Straw Hat Pirates, but Straw Hat Luffy, blah, 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 blah. But he's not supposed to be the Beast Pirates. These Pirates are the #1 seed. Jake Jones says, here to say the Gear 5 twist sucks. Have a good stream. I think the Gear 5 twist is good at the end of the day. I enjoy it. So I got nothing to say on that. Cassidy says, open stream to raid failing discussion. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to talk about? This is what you guys are here for. Chinho Wong says, more raid failures succeed as long as it pays off story-wise. Mord still wins. Look, I want a good story at the end of the day. If it spills into like Straw Hats versus Kaido, things like that, I think that'll be great. I do genuinely look forward to that. Whether you believe me or not, I care more right now about the Wano arc getting good emotional moments, getting good like resolutions to like character arcs, getting like important character moments and interactions and payoff to certain themes that seem to have been set up throughout the arc. I care more about that than being right or wrong about the raid failing. Let's hold on. Am I being 100% honest on that? Or am I saying that just to say that? Let's hold on. I care, it's split now, right? Because I've done YouTube for so long, right? So like at a certain point, like I do really, really care about like so many people telling me I'm right or wrong about the raid failing, succeeding, etc. So that is a big impending part of like what I care about at the end of the day. But for me, like it's the personal versus the public, right? So for me personally, like I care about like, can we get something more out of this? Can we get like a really, really, really good conclusion to this whole arc? Can we get some really good character moments like Enies Lobby-esque, Alabasta-esque, etc. to round this whole thing off? Can we get some good, tight conclusions to a lot of the themes that Oda has been putting out there? A lot of the character arcs that Oda seems to have been setting up? Can we get a lot of that? That's what I care a lot about, right, personally. Publicly, at this point, the raid failing, succeeding thing, like that's been going on for so long, so I do care about that. I don't know what I care about more right now. I don't know. Either way, I know like a large part of me would be happy if we get, at the very least, Kaido getting up, Straw Hats versus Kaido, something along those lines, at least something more for Luffy, something along those lines, regardless if raid fails, succeed. No Brain says, if raid fails, Straw Hats will retreat and hide in Ringo, in my opinion. I don't know where they would retreat and hide. I have no idea. It's hard to say where like the safe haven would necessarily be. Anuj Agarwal says, no brains, keep up the good chats. Alright guys, I'm probably going to call this stream in like the next 10 or so minutes. We've been going for a bit. It's been good. I think that I don't know if I'm ever going to do like another like straight post chapter stream or whatever. Like that's like a bit much. I enjoy doing it. Like obviously the views and stuff are better doing it right after the chapter, but like I'd rather do it on Mondays when I'm like, you know, not having to take time out of whatever I was already doing, etc. It's just more, more at my pace. Although it's pretty far removed from the chat. I don't know. Zoldan says, is Sasuke a good character? He makes me angry. No, of course not. Not Sasuke. Definitely not. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Add Itachi to that list. Sublimation TV says, Kaido flashback felt rushed. Kaido fell too early. I mean, I don't think he did. I don't think he fell. So we'll find out. Broly Power Maximum says, Straw Hat docking versus Kaido. YouTubers docking versus Morge. There's no YouTubers docking versus me. Like, 90... Like, the vast majority of YouTube... Like, there's no bad blood between me and other YouTubers whatsoever. Like, there really isn't. Even YouTubers that you might think there might be bad blood or whatever, all I gotta say is, like, you don't know, and there's discussions that I guess are just not public or whatever that you're just not gonna see. But there's no, genuinely, and I can say this from the bottom of my heart, there's no YouTuber right now that I think that there's genuinely bad blood between. Might be misunderstandings or moments of whatever, but that shit just happens. That shit just happens. Storm says Gear Fifth was good to me, but I like Gear Fifth, by the way. No matter what happens, I'm gonna maintain I think Gear Fifth is some of the coolest shit Oda's ever done. Storm says Gear Fifth was good to me, but I enjoyed the sun symbolism a bit more when it was more implied / subtle. I think that there's a good case to be made for that. I do understand where you're coming from there. Now it's kind of in your face, sun god. Still like it though. I think that is a good point. That is a good point. There might be something to say about that. Victor Lopez said, well, what about Kaido's defeated but Strats versus Navy? No, I personally think that would be a worse resolution than the raid just succeeding and ending here. I personally think that, from my perspective, that would be the worst possible resolution. The part here says, super chat from Storm. Now it's kind of... No, we covered this. Anuj Agarwal says, please stop super chatting from here. Stream ending soon. Yeah. Guys, stream is ending soon. I'm probably going to call it in the next 5 minutes or so. So let's all just cut it. Chin Huang says, lol, Parvision. Where's Parvision? Let me just mod him before I forget. I don't even see his chat. Where's Parvision? If I don't find him, I'm not going to mod him. Parvision says, very angry with Morge that I haven't come to the stream sooner. Oh, that's sweet. All right, I'll mod you. That's nice. That's a nice thing to say. Ivan back from the card shop. Layout for YouTuber docking and what's better, Naruto villains or One Piece villains? Look, I mean, what do you want me to say? No more guys, for real, no more super chats from here on. We're done with super chats. Yeah, we're done with super chats because I'm going to call the stream pretty soon. So I will not respond to any future super chats. I will, of course, respond to Ivan because Ivan is a stream regular and I can't not respond to Ivan. Layout for YouTuber docking and what's better, Naruto villains or One Piece villains? Layout for YouTuber docking, that's too difficult. I think Tekking's the head. Tekking's got to be the head. I'm biased because Tekking is my favorite One Piece YouTuber to watch. My favorite One Piece YouTuber. How can you not enjoy watching Tekking? He's so much fun to watch. Better Naruto villains or One Piece villains? I mean, I'm gonna be like One Piece villains, but like Naruto had some good villains. So I'd have to reread Naruto and kind of like try and remove some of my bias, but right now I'm just gonna be like, oh, One Piece villains. What do you want me to say? Benjamin Benjamin Baxter just said at Mr. Morge. What kind of a comment is that? Chino Wong says Paravision, those people never watch Morge videos. What are we talking about? Who are we talking about here? I'm just gonna ignore this comment thread. Alright. Maroko says you cannot hate Tekking. Yeah, Tekking is, if you're a One Piece fan, it's really, really difficult to dislike Tekking. Like, if you feel like watching anything One Piece... Anuj Agarwal says Tekking is all of the One Piece YouTubers' favorite One Piece YouTuber. Yeah, alright, let's be honest. Like, at the end of the day, I'm never going to say I'm a better One Piece YouTuber than Tekking. Tekking is the best One Piece YouTuber. It's just... I think it's... I'm not going to say it's indisputable, but from my perspective, that's just the way it is. Most enjoyable One Piece YouTuber to watch, that's for sure. Chino Wong says, you hate Tekking, you hate One Piece. Yeah, I mean, that's literally it. Like, if you're into One Piece and you just want to enjoy the series and hear someone talk about the series and, like, just, like, have fun, that's the most important point. Have fun talking about the series. Tekking's your guy. He's the best One Piece YouTuber. You can make a case about many people for different reasons, though. Like, you want, like, some hype, really unique reactions, you can go to King of Lightning. right? Like there's different cases you can make for different people. But I think teching is kind of like the center of the Venn diagram where everybody's interests overlap. Also, teching bought a Morge plush. So I'm heavily biased towards talking up teching because he bought a Morge plush. Zikaiser says Rogers base shade. Nice. No, I have absolutely no shade towards Rogers base. All right, let me say this. Let me say this about Rogers base. All right. Again, people don't know, I guess, behind the scenes stuff in general about like how YouTubers interact or whatever. But Rogers base has been one of the nicest and most helpful people throughout my YouTube journey in terms of just being able to bounce stuff off of, talk to, vent to, etc. That's like out of, if anybody remembers, basically, no, I'm sure plenty of people remember, like when I was getting torn up by Twitter 3 months ago or however long, right? Rogers Base, out of all of the people that I know on YouTube, was one of the people who went out of his way to actually make a video addressing it and indirectly, not directly mentioning me or whatever, but indirectly like shouting me out, like trying to defend me. That was something that was very, very nice that he did not have to do whatsoever. Rogers Base is great. I'm just not going to list literally everybody whose videos like I enjoy watching or YouTubers who I think do a good job, etc. Just giving examples. Roronoa. How do you say Roronoa? Roronoa Boa says Roger and OG. Yeah, there's like different eras of One Piece YouTube. It goes in like different waves or whatever. Ricky Carrillo says, Morge, were you a fan or friend of Etika? So this is wild. I never knew Etika's name until everything, you know, that saga basically, that, you know, it actually played out. I wasn't aware about any of that. I didn't know Etika was a YouTuber. I think maybe I wasn't on maybe separate scenes or whatever. Basically, I'm not too invested in the general YouTube, whatever. But I didn't really know who he was until I saw the great outcry from what was, you know, post-mortem, etc. Locksfight, thank you so much for absolutely no reason at all. You didn't ask anything, but thank you. Appreciate that. Spellman4, appreciate it as well. Jordan Taylor says, what about BDA not modding you? Yeah, no, Brago is terrible. There's nothing to say about Brago. He kind of just sucks. That dude basically is just terrible. Like, out of all the One Piece YouTubers that exist, I could probably say something positive about each one of them, except for Brago. Like, I struggle. I could make up something, but it's just, you would be able to clearly tell it's fake. Spellman, thanks. Can't tell if you're trying to say something. Why do exist says Etika, as though I pronounced it wrong. Look, I don't know how to pronounce it. Like, I don't know the guy. That's, what else am I supposed to say about it? I don't know the guy. All right. It is Aurora Noboa says, make the One Piece YouTuber tier list. I will do that the day that I want everybody in the Reverie chat to basically, like, exile me forever. I think there's nothing to say there. All right, everybody. I think that is good enough for today. It was fun doing a stream right after the chapter. I think I will stick with my Monday chapter reviews. Yeah, I don't think that there's anything else to talk about right there. Yeah, I'll probably stick to Mondays. Thursday was fun as a experience or whatever, but it is more lively on Thursdays a little bit. But I think Mondays are generally better, and Mondays are where like everybody's used to. And yeah, nothing else to say on that.